So today we're gathered to honor a saved life through an extraordinary actions of ordinary people. We are privileged to be joined by sudden cardiac arrest survivor Jeff Kleinholz and his wife, seated to my left. And formally recognize the rescuers Kenny and Denny Llewellyn, whose immediate, decisive, and life-saving actions saved Jeff's life. Jeff is here with us today because they were trained, prepared, and willing to act without hesitation. Mr. Kleinholz had returned to something in the medical field called ROSC, return of spontaneous circulation, prior to the arrival of EMS.
The advisory committee represents more than 300 years of clinical emergency response and military leadership experience. Individually and collectively, our members have led and performed hundreds of cardiac resuscitations in both hospital and pre-hospital settings. These professionals know what they're doing and have made critical life and death decisions in real time under extreme pressure. According to the American Heart Association, more than 1,000 out-of-hospital cardiac arrests occur every day in the United States. The average survival rate is approximately 10%. This number increases dramatically with immediate bystander intervention, often exceeding 50%. Patients who receive CPR within the first 2 minutes have up to an 87% greater likelihood of surviving to hospital discharge compared to those who do not. The combination of early CPR and the use of an automated external defibrillation, or AED, can double or even triple the chances of survival. In a cardiac emergency, you cannot wait for EMS.
So at this time, I'd like to call Kevin Knussman. Kevin's on our advisory board, a retired Maryland State Trooper, medevac, helicopter, paramedic. Thank you, Kevin.
I spent a lifetime telling family and friends their loved one was dead because we got there too late as paramedics in our community, our rural community in Maryland. And in 40 years, I think I saw maybe a half a dozen successful resuscitations of patients that were called in as cardiac arrest at the time of the call. And we can change that. In this country, we're sub 10% in getting patients to survive out-of-hospital cardiac arrest. And the only way to improve that is with early CPR and early application of a defibrillator. So as president of the Advocates for Early Defibrillation, we're about 3 years old now. We're looking to work with anyone in the Central Florida region that's willing to educate and advocate for improved survival rates. And I thank you for being here. Let's see. So I went off script there, but I want to tell you that the chances of getting a successful save is dramatically improved by educating everyone that anyone can save a life. And there's thousands of public access defibrillators throughout the country that are doing that every day. Thank you.
So we'd like to begin by welcoming Kelly and Denny Llewellyn, the rescuers.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kelly, and this is my husband, Denny, and we are honored to be here today, and we are honored that each and every one of you has joined us today. I'm going to let Denny tell you the part that you really came here to hear, which is what happened that day, the exciting stuff. But I needed to share a few words with you this afternoon first. Do I have any podcast listeners out there? Anybody listens to their favorite podcasts throughout the day? Up until about a year ago, that really wasn't my thing. But as some of you got to experience, I have quite a drive to work back and forth each day to work. So I've become quite the podcast listener. And so one of the ones that I have started to listen to each week is called the Higher Up Podcast by Michael Smoke. And what I love about his material is that he always kind of gives me nuggets to think about. Some of those nuggets I actually use with my patients day to day. And so I thought about maybe utilizing that today, and I thought no, because last week when I was listening, I was driving home from work one day, and he was sharing about the 1-year anniversary of his dad's death, and one of the things that he actually, his dad used to say to him, and I thought it was very fitting for our celebration today. His dad would say to him, "Do you know how to spell love?" How do we spell love? L. I'm sorry, you are all incorrect today. You spell love Time. And I thought it was fitting for 2 reasons. The first is that the time that you're spending here with us is not lost on us. We know that many of you have had changed plans today. You gave up activities with your family and friends. I know there's some softball players that have missed out on some softball today. I know that some of you changed your work days, and I know that some of you came here during your workday, taking leave time to be with us today. And I want you to know that that is not lost on me or our family. Time is such a precious, precious gift that we are given each and every day. The second is that when we make the decision to help another human being, we are choosing to act. We are choosing to make a decision to give of our precious time. And we certainly all know that time day to day is not always given to us. We don't ever know when our time here on earth is going to be up. Denny and I celebrated our 23-year wedding anniversary the day before Jeff's cardiac arrest. And for years, during our early years of marriage and even before then, Denny and I spent hours and hours volunteering and caring for people in some of the worst times of their life and some of those worst moments. But what is ironic is that it had been well over 17 years since Denny and I had functioned together in the way that we functioned the day that Jeff went into cardiac arrest. October 6th was a beautiful sunny day here in Central Florida. My mom was here visiting, and I knew it was going to be a great day at softball because she was going to meet so many of our softball family who she had only heard about or seen pictures of. What I didn't know that day is that our family would grow by 2 individuals that day that would stretch far past the softball fields. We were given an unforeseen situation, which would allow our training and time to help give time back to Jeff and Cindy. A few more good mornings, a few more good nights. The power of action, the power of training, and the power of love, spelled Time. If you have the training and someone needs it, don't hesitate. Don't let doubt sink in. Don't think about the what ifs, the consequences. I want you to show your love and give them a few minutes of your time, because I promise you that this doesn't always work. And you've heard in those statistics today that oftentimes it doesn't work. But when it does, there is nothing sweeter than knowing you help give that person a little more time. If you aren't trained, I challenge you to get trained, because you truly never know when you will need it. I certainly didn't think it would be at an announcing tower at a softball field. It is now my privilege to turn the mic over to my amazing husband so that you can all hear about the events of that day. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Just to piggyback on hers, the biggest thing is just getting the training and not being afraid to use it. You are not going to do something wrong, and 100% of people are going to die with you standing there doing nothing. So we were at the softball complex, and I'll tell you how this all came about. I was down on the field, and one of the scoring towers had yelled down to our daughter Hayden to get me to come up to the tower. So she said, okay, I'll go get it. And they're like, no, now. So I still had no idea nothing was going on. I thought there was a computer issue with scoring. I didn't know there was a medical issue at all. So I made my way to the tower. And when I get up to the tower, they had said, hey, I think Jeff is having an issue. Can you check on him? So I said, sure. So I walked behind him. I said, Jeff, how you doing? No response. So I came around to him, got to where he was, put my hand on his shoulder, gave him a rub. Jeff, how you doing? No response. So I leaned him back in the chair, and he was as blue could be. So I had noticed that there was a half-eaten donut that was sitting in front of him. So when I checked for a pulse, and when there was no pulse, I noticed there was a lump in his throat as well. So I'm thinking, oh, Jeff is choking. So I did 2 or 3 cycles, got behind him, did the Heimlich maneuver, couldn't get it dislodged at that time. So I knew that there was an AED downstairs, so I had somebody go get the AED. And I had just happened to stand up from doing the Heimlich maneuver where he was sitting on the seat, and it's a very confined space. I had just looked down and I'd seen Kelly. I said, get Kelly and tell Kelly to come up here. So Kelly come up tonight knowing have no idea what was going on upstairs. So Kelly come up and I said, she's like, hey, what's going on? And I said, I need you to turn it on and get ready. And she pointed to the AED. So Kelly had turned it on. We had got Jeff lowered to the ground, put the AED on him, analyzed, shock advised. So we shocked him one time. I did a cycle of CPR. On my first cycle of CPR, and about halfway through, dislodged the donut. So I felt for a pulse. There was no pulse, so I continued with CPR. Did the cycle. Kelly did the second cycle of CPR. It got time where we started analyzing again, shock advised again, so we shocked Jeff the second time. So we continued CPR, and on the third cycle of CPR is whenever we had got Jeff back. So all this had in a very confined space with no first responders. No one had gotten there yet. We had turned around, and the first person who got there was a gentleman from the Wildwood Police Department. So once we got him back, he was able to, and it's been involved with several cardiac arrests and having some saves that I was involved in. This was a really good feel-good moment because it went from him and how he was to being able to hold a conversation with Kelly. Not a common thing to see on a CPR. So he was talking to Kelly, and Kelly, first thing are you married? And Jeff's like, yeah. And Jeff had no idea what was going on. So EMS had got there, and they had gotten him down and got him to the hospital. But it's just, we were trained, and it was just a blessing that we were there, and that the villages had the AEDs on hand. It's a blessing.
I will share, Denny, thank you for retelling that story. It's every time we talk about it, and every time we share it, it's just amazing because we know the reality of survival. The first time Denny took me to the softball field, and I want you to understand that I'm not a sporty girl, I'm not a softball girl, I don't really know anything about sports. I'm more of an intrusive person to sit there and actually watch sports with than enjoyable because I have so many questions because I don't understand them. And so the first time Denny ever took me to the softball field, I walked in, and as a nurse, we like to be prepared, right? We always want to, right? I'm always the overpacker and that sort of thing. And so when we walked into the field the very first time, I looked around and I said, so do they have an AED here? Because I know the age of the population here, right? And I just said, I just want to be prepared. And he said, yeah, there's every field, there's one right in there. And so in my mind, if I had ever pictured needing to use an AED, it was going to be out on the field where somebody went down out on the field. It was not going to be up in a tower that I had never stepped one foot in, okay? So I had no idea. And even that moment when Denny called me up there that day, I finally got to the point for a split second where I thought, it's probably a diabetic thing because that's my thing. I can do this. Like if he's diabetic, I can help him out, right? And when Denny pointed to that AED, Are all those years of our younger life running codes together just jumped in and we just did what we needed to do. It wasn't lost on us that even though Jeff told me his wife's name was Cindy, which was amazing, that even though we were considering it a save, that there was a high likelihood that Jeff was still not going to survive to be here with us today. So that was never lost on us because we knew that there were so many other variables that could come into play. 4 days after this event happened, I walked into the softball complex and my husband came up to me and said, "Hey, there's somebody here that wants to meet you." And there stood Jeff. And I can tell you that all of the years, all the times we've done CPR, those moments don't happen. So again, I am grateful to each and every one of you for giving up your time to come and hear our story and to celebrate life and to celebrate Jeff. Thank you all.
Thank you, Kelly and Denny. It goes to show how ordinary people who know what to do can save somebody's life. It's that quick, it's that simple. And that's what our advisory committee is about. It's about advocating, creating awareness, creating momentum. It is amazing that as this has evolved the last couple of months, the local, state, and national attention that's come as a result of this incident, and also people realizing the importance of CPR and AED and knowing what to do in an emergency. They performed this action in a tower. It's not the normal place you would think you were going to do this, but you could be confronted in a bedroom, in a car, in a bathroom that's cramped and confined. So this could happen anywhere at any place. And it's important that you act on your training because as the time ticks, by the time that somebody's realized that somebody's in cardiac arrest, the clock already started. And the further down you get down to the clock, unless you're immediately there or you witness the cardiac arrest, the chances of survival decrease significantly. But the American Heart Association says that if you can get to the cardiac arrest within 2 minutes, the chances of survival increases 87%. So that's our goal. Please welcome Jeff and his lovely wife, Cindy, to the podium.
Well, thanks for being here. I've been told by many people, it's great to see you. And I always say that, but one of my softball buddies, I say, it is great to be seen, but I had one of my softball buddies say, remember, it's always better to be seen than to be viewed. So believe me, I'm blessed. People have said you're lucky. No, I'm blessed. There they are. Yeah, it was 16 weeks ago today that my sudden cardiac arrest occurred. So 4 months, I'm back to playing softball. Missed a game today though. We were on TV. We won, so they didn't need me. Oh, that's right, we beat Frank's team. Okay. I played a game at 11 o'clock, and I don't have a history of heart problems other than some high blood pressure and cholesterol, of course. During that game, I was feeling a little fatigued, and I had been feeling fatigued for several weeks at games and mowing the lawn. But I just attribute it to being 72 and it was hot. I did have some achiness across the top of my shoulders, but none of the classical signs of a heart event. I actually told myself about inning 5 that I need to go home that afternoon and make an appointment with the doctor. Maybe I have some electrolyte imbalances, something going on. So I was aware enough for that. I got done with the game. I believe we won that one. Had a half a beer with the guys. I mean, it was noon, so it was afternoon, so that's okay. I had some pretzels. I went up in the tower because I was scheduled to score a game at 1 o'clock. Got the computer ready to go. There's a guy, one of the guys on our softball, he's involved with the food bank, and he brings day-old donuts. I had one. I usually do. After about second bites, I'm done. I don't remember much after that. I don't remember talking to Kelly about Cindy or anything like that. I remember waking up on the gurney going to the ambulance. I somehow knew that I had had a cardiac event. And I distinctly remember telling the paramedics, I don't want to be doing this. I don't want to be here. But I do remember the ride to the hospital, the siren, getting me to the hospital. I saw Cindy there. They started working on me. And less than an hour after getting to the hospital, Dr. Ruisi, who he couldn't be here today because Craig told me he's doing a procedure like he did on me. He got me in the cath lab, found a complete blockage of my RCA, which is not the Widowmaker, but on the other side. He put a stent in, and as Kelly said, this was on Monday. On Thursday, I went back out to the ball field to meet them. So I feel great. I would tell people sometimes there's no classical signs. I didn't have an elephant sitting on my chest. I didn't have pains going down my neck, or I didn't even have a cardiologist on the dance card until that day. So I do remember later on that Cindy said something to me about she now knows what 50 Shades of Grey is about, because that's what she said I look like. So that's pretty much it. Again, I am blessed to be here.
So Kelly and Denny are not ordinary people. They are extraordinary people. Jeff has now been trained to do CPR, and he is on our community AED team. He wants to pay that forward. I will soon be trained and hopefully be on the team. But one of the things that Kelly and Denny continue to say to me is, we're just glad that they could give me one more good morning and good night. Because in a blink of an eye, with no history of heart problems, I would have been a widow. And at the time, I was just in shock. I just went through the motions. I was mad at him for doing this. I was mad because I was like, Jeff, you're not supposed to have a heart attack. You don't have any heart problems. But when I saw him in the emergency room and there were 10 people working on him, and within 15 minutes, they're wheeling him down the hall and telling me he's going to get a stent, I didn't even know what that meant. So don't take those little signs lightly that I don't feel well, or it's too hot, or I'm 72, 73 in June. I look to my neighbors. If they're out raking the yard and all of a sudden the rake's there but they're not, I wonder, should I go check on Bob? Should I go check on my 85-year-old neighbors up at the thing because I haven't seen their paper gone that day? Just little things like that now I am super aware of. When I go to a restaurant, I look around and say, is there an AED here? Where's the closest emergency exit? Those kinds of things. That's something all of us can do without having to do CPR on somebody. Are you feeling okay? He was a color that I hope to God I never see again. And he says he remembers, but he doesn't, because I kept going up to him in the ER and saying, Jeff, he goes, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? And I come back later, Jeff, what are you doing here? So it was very, very scary, but because of two people, granted they're trained, and they have an AMS background and a nursing background, they were willing to put themselves in a place, and not a very big place, because I saw that last week, and it was very narrow and very hard to do CPR on somebody. Thank God Grizzly Adams was there. So, I'm just glad that they gave me time so that I can love on my husband.
I don't think there's anything that can be said with that. And this is something that we're sharing, that this is something anybody in this room can do. That's the importance. It's public access to have AEDs accessible, unlocked, available for responders or law enforcement that come into our community. That allows to be a public access. And the second is to be trained in CPR, because CPR has to be used initially as the AED is applied, because at most cardiac rhythms, only 50% are actually able to defibrillate a patient. So CPR, the correct CPR procedure, and in combination with an AED, is what's used to save somebody's life. And the importance, everybody has stressed today, is that this is immediate. You can't wait. You don't have time. You don't have time for the fire department or EMS. They're getting there. I spent an entire career doing that, and I never could get there quick enough. So these folks were so thankful for what they acted on what they knew. They knew what to do. They worked as a team. Denny identified they had a complete airway obstruction. Most people wouldn't think of that. But as an EMS provider, as some of us on our panel, or actually all of us, EMS and responders, we would know that there's a reason for that obstruction, that there's not air movement, that the chest is stiff and won't allow you to compress. So different things like that. So we really appreciate Kelly and Denny for all that they have done, and for Jeff to decide he wanted to play another baseball game, softball game actually. So Dr. Ruisi is a member of our committee, graciously accepted to do that, and we're very esteemed to have him be a part. Dr. Ruisi is an interventional cardiologist, and actually was the cardiologist for the day that Jeff came to the hospital. So he could not be here this morning. He texted me a couple hours ago, and as a result of him doing the work that he did for Jeff that day, he's got cases that have come up unannounced, and I did want to share a little bit about him because it's especially fitting that he would be here and be a part of what we're doing, because he is a physician whose life work is preventing the very tragedy we're here to confront. Dr. Ruisi is a board-certified interventional cardiologist with Orlando Health Medical Group, widely respected for providing the most advanced cardiac care to improve both the quality and the longevity of his patients' lives. He earned his bachelor's from the University of Notre Dame and his medical degree from the New York Medical College. He completed his internal medicine residency at Beth Israel Medical Center, the University Hospital, followed by fellowships in cardiovascular disease and interventional cardiology at Mount Sinai Beth Israel Medical Center in New York. Dr. Ruisi is a published researcher who has appeared in numerous peer-reviewed medical journals. He's the author of a textbook, chapter on heart failure, and testament to his leadership in the field of cardiovascular medicine. Beyond his professional accomplishments, Dr. Ruisi is a devoted husband and father, and he brings both clinical excellence and deep compassion to everything he does. In a community committed to saving lives through rapid response and preparedness, there's no other voice appropriate for the moment. So obviously he was not able to be here with us today, but I did want to share with you that he is one of many medical providers who are part of the AED Advisory Committee. At this time, I'd like to welcome Alexander Kuentz from the representing Senator Ashley Moody.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Senator Moody sends her regrets. You get me. I'd like to say this is an amazing story. Denny, you guys are definitely Florida's finest. And for that, I share this letter from the senator. Dear members of the CPR AED Advisory Committee, honorees, and distinguished guests, I regret that circumstances prevent my attendance at this morning's event. After hearing the remarkable stories, please accept my sincere appreciation for the invitation and my admiration for the life-saving work being recognized. This ceremony reflects the very best of the villages. Neighbors prepared to act, leaders committed to prevention, and a community that understands the value of readiness in moments when every second matters. The actions being honored today serve as a powerful reminder that training, courage, and compassion can change the course of a life. Special recognition is due to Denny and Kelly Llewellyn, whose calm resolve and swift response during a medical emergency exemplify the highest standards of civic responsibility. Faced with a critical situation, their life-saving care was delivered without hesitation, demonstrating how preparedness can transform a moment of crisis into one of hope. Their actions stand as an inspiration to the entire community. I also wish to commend Mr. Craig Langrell for his outstanding dedication, leadership, and professionalism as chairman of the CPR AED Advisory Committee of the Villages. Through his visionary guidance and unwavering commitment, Mr. Langrell has been instrumental in advancing the mission, effectiveness, and reach of the committee. Although I am unable to be present, please know how deeply I value this work. This award ceremony marks not only an important milestone, but a lasting commitment to protecting lives and serving others with purpose and care. Sincerely, your Senator, Ashley Moody. Thank you.
This is like the most important part.
So at the Senate, they have something called a congressional recognition. Right now, we're in the process of doing that to honor the Llewellyns. So hopefully we'll be seeing that sometime soon.
Not many people that I know have their names that are going to be in the United States Senate congressional record. So congratulations, guys. Next, I would like to invite Cindy Brown on behalf of Congressman Daniel Webster. Cindy?
Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, I'm Cindy Brown, and I serve United States Congressman Daniel Webster here in the Villages in Sumter County. I'm actually a villager as well, and my husband's name is Jeff. So that's just amazing. What a wonderful way to celebrate life today. So the Congressman has written a letter just to honor Kelly and Denny, just as a little honoring time for them. So I will read this to you very quickly. Dear friends, I am pleased to extend my sincere appreciation to Kelly and Denny Llewellyn for their extraordinary actions and life-saving service to the community of the Villages, Florida. Through their quick thinking and immediate use of CPR and an automated external defibrillator, the Llewellyns helped save the life of Jeff following a sudden cardiac arrest at the Everglades softball complex. Their willingness to act in a critical moment exemplifies the very best of public service and civic responsibility. I also commend the CPR AED Advisory Committee of the Villages for its continued commitment to education, preparedness, and public safety. The committee's work to expand CPR training and AED accessibility plays a vital role in ensuring that community members are equipped to respond when seconds matter most. I applaud all those involved for their dedication in making the Villages a safer community. It is my honor to serve as your representative in the United States House of Representatives. Your servant, Daniel Webster. Congratulations to everyone today.
Next, I'd like to invite Chief Randy Palmer of the Wildwood Police Department.
Craig's got a great barber. So does Jeff and Danny too. Great barbers, great barbers. Hey, good afternoon. How's everybody doing? Good, good. Hey, I'm deeply honored and humbled to be here today, to be a part of this recognition and presentation. How many people in here, by show of hands, because I couldn't see good from back there, are AED trained? That's pretty impressive. Give yourselves a big hand. Only have one question for Jeff, from a law enforcement to a law enforcement officer. How could you waste that donut like that? 1 day old, that's in its prime right there. That's good stuff. Good stuff. So you never know what to quite want to say when you're up here, but when I was listening to others speak, and by the way, thank you for your heartfelt messages. It was really, probably touched everybody in here, I'm sure. But I heard it said 3 times, blessed. Don't worry, I'm not going to run down there and do the Holy Ghost run through the aisles or anything. And this may surprise you, but I'm not an overly spiritual person, just enough. And I've never been accused of dirtying up the church doormats more than I should. But I do believe what I believe, and I know what I know. And I believe that, as hokey as it may sound, there are angels that walk amongst us. And their job is to do for us what we can't do for ourselves. And they can come in any shape or form. They can be doctors, nurses, teachers, firefighters, police officers, or they're going to be that couple on the softball field right beside you. Now, that's what I believe. And what I know is, Denny and Kelly, on that day on October 6th, you truly were angels. And you took care of Jeff when he couldn't take care of himself. And for that, we're eternally grateful to you. Your act of selflessness and acting the way you did with the knowledge, skills, and abilities provided life for Jeff when it could have seeped away from him. So on his behalf, everyone's behalf, thank you. And also on behalf of myself, the Wildwood Police Department, and the City of Wildwood, I want to present you with a plaque to recognize your life-saving efforts and your dedication to the community.
One of the initiatives that the AED Advisory Committee is going to be working on, there's 2. I'll share this to you real quick. One is, I realized that the first cardiac arrest that I responded to in the villages before my village came online was a Leesburg police officer at about 5 in the morning. And he came in and he didn't have an AED. And we had a conversation afterwards. He worked for previously the Florida Highway Patrol, and all of their vehicles have AEDs in them. So we are working, so that kind of put a little nugget in there. So we're going to be working with, and some of the reasons why we offered the opportunity for law enforcement that responds in the villages to be here today and to be a part of this is because we want to work with ZOLL and defibrillators to see what we can do to get AEDs in most of their vehicles, their frontline vehicles, the vehicles that are going to be responding in the villages and other places. So we're going to be partnering to do that. The second thing we're going to be doing as a committee is we are going to hold something very successful that we did in Maryland, and that was to do a CPR AED marathon, where we're going to invest in a space like this and offer in one day. And when I did it previously in Maryland, we did hundreds, if not thousands of people in a day, train them in basic CPR and the use of an AED. So we're going to be doing that, rolling that as kind of the year progresses. Next, I'd like to welcome Kevin Dobson and Stephen Rideout with Ready Alert.
Thank you, Craig. We're honored to be here today to not only support the initiative of this advisory committee, but also the 20+ years that we've been associated with this CPR AED program here in the villages. So who is Ready Alert? We are the critical communications company that delivers high volume messages over multiple communication channels through just about every industry in the US. But more importantly, we're the actual transport system for the communication between the 911 dispatch center and the intended recipients or community responders here in the villages. So today, we are honoring Kelly and Denny Llewellyn for their immediate actions when Jeff Kleinholz suffered his cardiac arrest. Their quick actions and CPR skills made the difference between life and death. So on behalf of Ready Alert and everyone here who believes in training and being prepared, it's our privilege to present the Ready Alert Heroic Responder Award to Kelly and Denny Llewellyn. Thank you for saving a life.
Next, I'd like to welcome Sergeant Adam Dodge with the Sumter County Sheriff's Department.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Sergeant Adam Dodge in the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. I'm here on behalf of our Sheriff Pat Breeden, who is unable to be here today. And speaking with Jeff, before this all got started today, I thanked him for being here. I said, Jeff, thanks for being here. And I had an opportunity to thank the Llewellyns the same. Thanks for helping Jeff be here today. I'm going to read you a brief letter from our sheriff. It says, on the day that Mr. Jeff suffered a sudden cardiac arrest while playing softball at the Everglades Recreation Center, your immediate response, calm under pressure, and decisive life-saving efforts were instrumental in saving his life. Your willingness to act without hesitation exemplifies the highest standards of public service and compassion. Your actions reflect great credit upon yourself and stand as an inspiring example for what it truly means to serve and protect others. With sincere gratitude and appreciation, Sheriff Pat Breeden. I think the sheriff would ask me to share also that luck is defined when preparation meets opportunity. And I don't think anyone would think that this was a situation of luck, but we're certainly thankful for the preparation that was in place when the opportunity arose. So on behalf of our sheriff, I want to say thank you very much and present to you this certificate of distinguished service. So thank you very much.
Next, I'd like to introduce Ish Velez and Smith Walsh from ZOLL Medical.
I met Jeff, Cindy, Kelly, and Denny last week, and it was impacting because it's funny that you said you went to the cath lab, and just 3 days before I met you, I was in the cath lab myself. So I thank God that I'm still here. It's a mission for me working for ZOLL. I travel throughout the state of Florida. I cover from Sarasota, Titusville to the Panhandle. And actually, after I'm done from here, I'm driving to Panama City to meet with NAS Panama Beach. So in my days, I find people and meet people from all walks of life, from children to grown-ups and adults and older folks, right, that are survivors, athletes of all kinds. And I'm going to tell you something is my passion. I've been with the company only 2 years, but I spent 30 years in the tool business. And a lot of people call me and say, you're crazy. How do you make a move into the medical device? I says, well, it's not just any medical device. It's a life-saving device. So I'm grateful to be here. Thank you for all of you for being here as well. And to do what you guys do. The villages have something that not every community has in the entire United States, which is all of you that are, when everybody raised their hand a little bit ago, I was like, wow. There's no need for training. This is easy. So I went off the script a little bit. I'm just going to read a little bit of something that our marketing team sent, and I'm going to be presenting some awards also to Kelly and Denny. Not far from here, just last year, at the Everglades Softball Complex, something happened that reminds us, and I'm going to have to put my glasses. I'm trying to show off here. Not show off my age. There you go. Now I can see. It says, something happened that reminds us of two powerful truths. Preparedness matters, and teamwork doesn't stop at the edge of the field. During the softball game, Jeff Kleinholz suffered a sudden cardiac arrest. In an instant, the game changed, so did the stakes as well. What could have been a tragedy became a testament to readiness and courage because of two people in the crowd, Denny and Kelly. They didn't freeze, they didn't wait, they worked as a team. They called for help, started CPR, and used an AED. In those critical moments, guided by the device and driven by instinct and care for another human being, they help save Jeff's life. That's what preparedness looks like. That's what teamwork looks like. And that's why we're here today. ZOLL is honored to recognize Denny and Kelly Llewellyn with the ZOLL Heroes for Life Award. Their action proved something we believe deeply. You don't need a medical background to save a life. Just need the confidence to act and the right tools within reach. I'm going to present to Kelly and Denny our plaque for Heroes for Life. I got one more thing.
Yes, sir.
One more thing I want to say also. This is a little bit of a surprise for them as well, but is already on the way, by the way, is shipping to your designated charity. Okay, so what I'm going to say is, as part of ZOLL, anything can happen, anyone can help. And in honor of the Llewellyns' heroic action, we are proud to present them with an AED that they have chosen to donate to Operation Barbecue Relief. This organization, thank you. Awesome. I read about the organization and it's phenomenal, especially in Florida. Yeah. We understand that very well. This organization is known for showing up when communities need it the most, often in the wake of a disaster, to serve meals, provide comfort, and now help ensure life-saving equipment is available when seconds matter. And in closing, with the push of an on button, as simple as a button, an AED provides clear step-by-step guidance until EMS arrives. Knowing where one is and being ready to act can save a life. Anything can happen, anything can help, anyone can help. Every second counts. Thank you so much.
I'd like to invite now John Ruisk and John Embroy representing Operation Barbecue Relief. So as Ish shared, a brand new ZOLL AED is in the mail to this organization, and these guys flew here to be recipients and speak about, for a moment, their organization.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone for coming here. I think if there's one thing we've all learned is people can make a difference. At Operation Barbecue Relief, we're a national nonprofit that travels the country after times of disaster, natural disasters, ice storms, hurricanes, tornadoes, wildfires. We work outside the United States when we have the opportunity, recently in Jamaica and in Hawaii after the fires. We believe in the power of can and what people can do. We've been on many disasters. We've fed over 13 million people since 2011 when we got started. And when you go into a disaster area, there are so many needs. Everyone needs shelter, food, comfort. We actually have 2 ZOLL AEDs with us when we deploy into disasters. We set up a huge city almost to prepare food for people. And now with the generosity and thanks to everyone here today, we're going to have one more in our arsenal so that when we go to deploy in multiple areas, we can have the confidence and feel safe that we can keep our volunteers safe, as well as providing comfort to those in need. So if we didn't hear enough about these amazing individuals today and what they do, they also volunteer with Operation Barbecue Relief to cook food for people in need. So another round of applause. Good. Thank you, everyone.
Hi, thank you. I'm Paula Love again. I'm here on behalf of the American Red Cross. Congratulations to Kelly and Denny for being nominated for and accepted to receive the American Red Cross National Certificate of Extraordinary Personal Action. Since 1911, thousands of certificates of merit, life-saving awards, for professional responders and certificates of extraordinary personal action have been issued to individuals who have saved and sustained a life as a direct result of American Red Cross training. Thank you. The award will be presented in the future. We've got about 6 weeks until we get it. So round of applause for the American Red Cross.
Next, I'd like to welcome Karen Linder, who will be presenting on our behalf for the American Heart Association.
Hello, everyone. Denny and Kelly, I'm so excited to be here today and present you with these awards on behalf of the American Heart Association. So I'm going to read what they sent. The American Heart Association would like to say thank you. It is a pleasure to honor you both for acting so courageously and swiftly to offer life-saving aid. Today, many Americans feel helpless during an emergency because they do not know how to administer CPR, or either they're afraid of hurting someone. We want to recognize heroes that have stepped up and to help save a life. Thank you for performing the heroic act of CPR, a critical link in our chain of survival. You have not only helped to save a life within your community, but you are also partnering with the American Heart Association to improve the survival rate of citizens who receive bystander CPR.
We had a really special presentation this morning. Fox 35 has been very supportive in that they have, last week we did interviews up in the tower. They wanted to present the story that will be coming out soon, and the story of where it all began. So we've been there several times to the softball complex, met with those folks to do interviews. They also came this morning. It was sunny, and then of course by 8:30, when everything was going to be live, they came there, and we all had umbrellas, thank goodness, because it poured, and so we made it work. It was very successful. So Fox 35, big round of applause for them. They really stepped up. And they presented Kelly and Denny with the Care Force Award. It's a community award that they present to folks throughout the state of Florida, and they came here this morning and presented that live on air. So at 8:30, if you're watching Fox 35, we were live. So we really appreciate all they've done on our behalf. Please welcome and allow me to introduce Dr. Tracy Salt, who is the Chief Nursing Officer of the United States Department of Veterans Affairs, and the executive leadership that has come here today as well.
I'm honored to join you here today on behalf of the Veterans Health Administration Undersecretary for Health, Mr. Bartram, and the support of Secretary Doug Collins under the in the support of Secretary Collins. Under President Trump's administration, their leadership continues to strengthen VA's commitment to veteran-centered care. As we approach February, it's National Health Month, Kelly and her husband, Denny, offer us a powerful reminder of the importance of being prepared when life happens, especially when it comes to cardiac emergencies. This moment is especially meaningful to me as a resident of the Villages, which is one of the largest veteran communities in the nation, but also as a veteran and someone whose family shares a proud tradition of military service. This community, my community, is defined by service, preparedness, and I think somebody mentioned looking out for one another. At the Veterans Administration, our mission is to honor America's veterans by providing exceptional health care that improves their lives. Through VHA SimLearn and Resuscitation Education Innovation Program, our READY, we prepare our workforce for moments just like this. And I know you've been through the READY training, yep. And so training, it's not just a requirement, it's readiness, it's confidence, it's action. And some people have already mentioned the statistics here. Cardiac arrest remains a leading cause of death. And each year in the United States, more than 350,000 people suffer out of hospital cardiac arrest. Nearly 90% of those do not survive. and survival depends on immediate bystander action. But behind every statistic, there's a story, and today we're here to recognize a remarkable one and a remarkable couple. Kelly Llewellyn, a VA nurse at the James A. Haley Veterans Hospital in Tampa, and her husband, Denny, who turned a training into action and into a second chance of life. Kelly shared that her training was worth every minute. In fact, she didn't hesitate, she acted. She had just completed her CPR retraining or recertification just a couple days before the event. And so in October, while attending the softball game at Everglades Softball Complex, Jeff Kleinholz collapsed into a cardiac arrest. Immediate CPR was initiated and an AED was used. Now, because of this event, a meaningful bond formed and an expanded family created through the courage and compassion. Their daughter, Hayden, who witnessed the event, now plans to learn CPR herself. And this is really how preparedness multiplies. This is how training can save lives. So today, I'm proud to honor Kelly with 2 coins. One is from the Ready and one is from nursing. So today we're proud to recognize Kelly with the Bystander Turned Hero Challenge coin for her life-saving actions in the community. This coin was created by some of these fellows over here as part of the Ready team to honor VA employees who take the training and the preparation and that they receive and use it beyond the walls of the VA to make a difference. This symbolizes or bridges the gap or the bridge between training and real life impact. Our goal is to build a community of lifesavers and empower everyone to learn CPR, to be ready to act when every second, or as you said, time counts. Love that. So those of you that are familiar with the military, I don't know how many people are military, but challenge coins are a long-standing military tradition. They represent honor and service and belonging. And when a challenge coin is presented, it signifies the recipient's actions reflect the highest values of the organization presenting it. The Bystander Turned Hero coin recognizes your readiness and your courage. And also, as the Acting Chief Nursing Officer for the Department of Veterans Affairs, I'm honored to present you with an Office of Nursing coin, it's actually a medallion, and it represents excellence of nursing and acknowledges your action. And I'm going to show these, but how many people are military here? Veterans, yeah. So you guys know what challenge coins are. I'm just going to show them for a minute. And every challenge coin, has a story behind it. And so for the nursing medallion, it's the nursing lamp, or the Florence Nightingale lamp is on the back. And the Department of Veterans Affairs seal. Hey, I just recognize some people I know. And so the Department of Veterans Affairs coin, it has 5 stars at the top, and it symbolizes the 5 branches of the military service. It has a flag that is 13 stars and 50 stars, so it represents our history as a nation. And the eagle symbolizes the strength. And I get choked up every time I say this. The gold ropes symbolize the veterans that we care for, and the eagle with the talons around it symbolizes our protecting the veterans. And so that's the nursing medallion, and then this is the Ready medallion. It has the same coin. It has the same seal on one side, and then it has a heartbeat on the back, which is appropriate. So just wanted to...
And my friend back there is Kevin Knussman. Kevin is the president of Advocates for Emergency or Early Defibrillation, of which I'm a board member of as well. We also want to recognize Chief Hunt, that's come from the Lady Lake Police Department to be a part of what we're doing here to show his support in the community. They're a perimeter agency that comes into the villages, and we're going to be working with his group as well to provide the AEDs in their vehicles or do their training, whatever they have need of, because we want to make sure that when there's an emergency, help's on the way, but the right help's on the way. The people are trained, they know what to do, they have the equipment to use so that we have the best possible chance of survival. Next is, let me introduce Jeff and his lovely wife again.
I have one more thing to say.
Huh?
I want to have one more thing to say.
Okay, all right.
I forgot to tell you that when I met Dr. Ruisi at the hospital the next day, he said, "I'm just so glad that EMS got there so fast." And I said, "That's not what happened." And he said, "Really?" And at the time, I thought they were just lay people. I didn't know they had any kind of background or any, I just thought they were people that were there. And he said this, "If they had not been there to act, your husband would not be here for me to treat." As we followed on with that, we went to meet the team of EMS down by Finney. And the lieutenant said, when I walked in to see Jeff, he had the classic signs, he was not going to make it. If those two people had not started CPR and utilized the AED, things in my life would be so different. So I just wanted to stress that I can't tell you enough to be ready. I mean, I know I learned CPR in my work. I learned how to do an AED in work. Well, I've been retired 5 years, 10 years, whatever. I forgot it. Well, I'm not going to forget it now because I could have been in my house and that happened to my husband and I would have tried to do something. So, maybe.
What do you say to people that jump out of the stands and come up and do what they did? But thank you. It's a blessing. One of the things that we know, because I have pictures, is they carry a pretty extensive first aid kit wherever they go. I needed it on Thanksgiving Day. Blood thinners and all that stuff. Anyway, they bandaged me up with their first aid kit. So, Cindy and I would like to give them one more tool to put in their kit.
This is yours. It's yours.
I hope they never have to use it, but we have a phrase in my house from Cindy. It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Thank you, sir.
God bless you. We love you. We're happy to be a part of your family. Thank you.
So we're going to conclude today. We have a lot of exceptional awards that have taken place today, high-ranking awards that have been bestowed. But one thing is important. It's not about the awards. It's about the thousands of people, even perhaps in this room, who have done the same thing. So we want to recognize those people. We want to recognize all those people out there in the world that even today, out of the 1,000 people who have a cardiac arrest, hopefully they've got folks like these who will step up. Hopefully they've got an AED like the one from ZOLL. and that as a result, the person has the best chance of survival. So we've done everything we can. Obviously, CPR and AED works. And that's our message today. That's what we wanted to really share today. We sincerely appreciate all of our distinguished guests and presenters, and all those who have been a part and supported what we're doing. I definitely want to especially recognize all of our distinguished guests from all the organizations. If you get a big clap. Special thanks to Jeff and Cindy Kleinholz for allowing us to share their story today. Most people would keep this private. Jeff, since I talked to him a few months ago when we started kind of contemplating doing something like this, he was very receptive. And his idea was, and Denny's, and actually everybody, that they wanted to get this message out. I shared with the Fox 35 folks on a couple occasions, and when their reporters would come. And what I went and told them was, you're not just a photographer or a reporter. What you are sharing, which was interviews and the Care Force Award and things like that, that you are sending that out to over 1 million people in their viewing area. So by doing an interview about what we did and demonstrating an AED, we were able to share that with potentially 1 million people today. And that is huge. And there's other organizations that are involved that are going to be taking this information and filming and things that we're doing here today, and it's going to go out nationally. So there's not many places, we're privileged to be doing what we're doing. We're privileged to be living in a place we live that had the forethought a long time ago, 20 years ago, to start a Neighbor Saving Neighbors program. And all we're doing is just picking it up and keeping it going. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you.